wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan selamat pagi. Sebelum kita memulakan sesi pada pagi ini, Jabatan Modal Insan ingin mengambil sedikit masa dan ruang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang berada dalam platform ini, termasuk speaker jemputan Encik Satya, mengenai rangka kerja pengawasan TH. Mengenai rangka kerja pengawasan TH, iaitu TH Stewardship Framework yang kita ada tunjukkan video pada permulaan tadi lah. So untuk makluman semua, rangka kerja pengawasan TH telah diluluskan oleh lembaga pengarah kita pada 22 Mac 2021 sebagai satu prinsip dan juga struktur tadbir urus di tabung haji lah, berpandukan kepada 3 item, iaitu maqasid syariah, integriti dan juga patuh syariah. So, rangka kerja pengawasan TH ini dibentuk berdasarkan pengumpulan dan penilaian garis panduan, polisi dan juga SOP berkaitan tadbir urus di TH dan mengenal pasti ruang-ruang untuk penambahbaikan. So, ini adalah sejajar dengan maklumat TH sebagai institusi Islam yang dihormati di atas pencapaian dan tadbir urusnya. So, harapan tabung haji dalam memperkenalkan rangka kerja ini adalah supaya setiap anggota mampu memahami dan juga menjiwai 4 kuadran dan objektif utama rangka kerja pengawasan TH sebagai satu garis panduan dalam tadbir urus pelaksanaan kerja seharian. Okey. So kembali kepada sesi kongsi-kongsi pakar kita pada hari ini. Alhamdulillah, bersyukur kehadrat Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala kerana dengan izinnya kita dapat berkumpul pada pagi ini untuk mendengar satu perkongsian yang sangat menarik lah daripada Encik Satyan yang bertajuk Leading Virtual Team. Okey. Sedikit latar belakang mengenai speaker Encik Satyan. Beliau merupakan practice leader di Leadership Resources Malaysia Sdn Bhd dengan pengalaman hampir 15 tahun. Untuk makluman, Leadership Resources Malaysia ini merupakan professional training and coaching agency yang ditubuhkan pada tahun 1992 dan merupakan the only agency di Malaysia yang mewakili Franklin Covey. Betul Encik Satyan, saya pronounce betul
Franklin Covey.
Franklin Covey, di Malaysia dan Brunei. So saya pasti tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mengenalilah Franklin Covey ini, yang merupakan world leader lah di dalam pembangunan kepimpinan termasuk transformasi human behavior. So topik yang ingin dibincangkan hari ini juga amat menarik, iaitu leading a virtual team. So sebagai makluman Encik Satyan, peserta-peserta webinar pada hari ini adalah merupakan senior manager lah. Mereka adalah head of section, head of division, yang mempunyai subordinate di bawah supervision mereka. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, seperti yang kita maklum, pandemik COVID ni telah menyebabkan banyak perubahan yang amat signifikan lah ke atas cara kita bekerja sekarang, dan cara bekerja ini juga turut mempengaruhi lah cara kita menguruskan staf bawahan kita secara virtual, di mana mereka semua tak ada depan kita. So today, pada hari ini, kita harap dengan perkongsian Encik Satyan, insyaAllah kita akan dapatlah ramuan, foundation serta skill-skill yang perlu kita ada untuk memastikan kaedah kepimpinan yang berkesan lah dalam memastikan produktiviti yang berterusan daripada anggota bawahan kita. Jadi insyaAllah semua persoalan tersebut akan dijawab oleh speaker kita hari ini. Jadi tidak tanpa melengahkan masa lah, sukacita saya mempersilakan Encik Satyan untuk meneruskan sesi kongsi-kongsi pakar beliau yang bertajuk Leading a Virtual Team. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan Encik Satyan.
Okay, thank you Khairul. Thank you so much. Now, my dear friends, good morning everyone. My name is Satyan. I have my colleague Nadia here. Nadia, want to say hi to everyone, Nadia?
Yes, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nadia. I'm a client partner from Leadership Resources Malaysia. So I hope you guys enjoy today's sessions. Yep.
Okay, thanks Nadia. Now, my dear friends, if you are comfortable, see, I'm going to be bilingual lah, but I don't think that there is a need to be bilingual. Tapi that's a way we facilitate anyway. Not only this webinar, any classes. Now, as I was introducing myself, again, my name is Satyan. Both Nadia and I from this company called Leadership Resources Malaysia Sdn Bhd. Now, who is Leadership Resources Malaysia? We are the sole licensee, franchisee untuk Franklin Covey. Now, all of you are senior management team, senior leaders. Maybe you would have heard a training called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yang tu kita punya flagship program. So maknanya wherever we go, when we say kita orang 7 Habits ni, memang hi Aziza, morning. People can recognize kita lah. So macam ni, cerita dia macam ni ya. The 7 Habits program is the number, I would say, one of the top 10 leadership material in the world. You see, the research for the 7 Habits book, it was done in 1976. The book is all about effectiveness. The book research was done 1976, tapi the book was launched in 1988. So from 1988 sampai sekarang, you go to any part of the world, business world lah, management world lah, everyone, any nook and corner in the world, they can recognize the book and the program, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So we are the people lah. So we have a friend like Ryan, your L&D head, right, Ryan. He knows us for many, many years. So I've been working with him for a while. He was in other companies as well. Okay, so that is a very brief introduction. Our license is limited for Malaysia and Brunei since 1992. Now, what I do as a facilitator, I've been with the company for 15 years. And I've been in the industry, training and consulting industry, right, 22 years. So throughout my career, training and industry, training and consulting is my forte lah. Okay, yeah? So with that, my dear friends, can I request is, if you are very comfortable, can you switch on your camera if you really can? Kalau comfortable. So I can see you. Cik Madun. Good morning, sir. Maziatul. Good morning. Cik Tarmizi, good morning. Cik Rizal, good morning. Okay. Now,
Thank you.
I tell you what, the most we're going to spend, Maziatul, next 90 minutes. Cik Syarin, 90 minutes saja. Tapi that 90 minutes can be extremely boring kalau kita tak interact. Okay, so what we do, simple as this. I'm going to share a very key concept about leading team, leading people. Very simple, very straightforward. Because what used to be common sense, not common practice anymore. Look at the word I use, common sense, not common practice. Now, let me tell you this way, yeah. I'm trying to zone you into the concept. You're going to look into 2 hari punya, yang ni, training material ya. This is a 2 days material, but I'm only going to spend 90 minutes. Giving you some very immediate tips lah. Alia, good morning, madam. So I'm just going to give you some tips for you to learn and apply. Now, when I say we're going to be very boring, people like me can talk for days, Puan Aniza. Kita boleh cakap, you give me slides, give me videos, give me benda ni, clicker ni, I can just play the slide, I can talk the whole day. Okay, because we are trained to do that. But to make the session interesting or interactive, the most important thing is you engage with me. As much as we're only going to spend 90 minutes, we're going to talk about leadership, team management, whatnot, right? You can ask me any questions about people management, business management, and people, or rather, team leadership. There's a word, team leadership. Okay, so there will be very quick tips I'm going to give, as much as I'm going to play some videos as well. So my interaction with you, some slides, some videos, and some questions for you to think, go deeper into thinking. So now, is it a fair request? Okay, yeah? Okay. Now, before we go into the learning, any questions that you feel like asking me now? Okay, macam, Satyan, tell me your experience on this. Satyan, tell me your experience on that. Before looking into the content, ada tak apa-apa kita kena tengok dulu ataupun sebarang kemuskilan yang kita kena explore before going into the learning? Anything? Okay, ada tak orang Negeri Sembilan kat sini? Saya orang Negeri ya. Ada orang Negeri Sembilan kat sini? Tak ada?
Ada.
Tak ada. Oh, saya orang Bahau. Dekat-dekat Kuala Pilah. Tak ada?
Ada.
Ada. Encik Badun dari mana?
Batu Kikir.
Batu Kikir, kampung mana?
Serting Tengah.
Serting Tengah. Itu
Ya.
jalan pergi Simpang Bertang tu. Okey.
Ya.
Saya orang Pahau.
Okey.
Belajar dekat sekolah St. Aidan.
I see. Batu Kikir.
Okey. Tapi 2 hari saya pernah buat STPM. 2 hari sajalah dekat Batu Kikir. 2 hari saja. Pas dulu. Okey. Now, ni orang kampung ni. Okey. Now, biasa balik kampung, Encik Badun?
Before the MCO ni 2 minggu sekali balik.
Okey. Rumah saya dekat-dekat dengan Balai Polis Pahau.
I see.
Dekat belakang Taman Meranti.
Tahu.
Nama taman kaya, tapi orang tak kaya lah. Taman saja kaya.
Ya.
Okey. Nah, ni dah jumpa orang kampung ni. Okay, thank you. Now, my dear friends, let's go into the content and then I will ask you some provoking questions as well. Be prepared for that lah. So if I call your names kan, janganlah marah saya. If I happen to call your names, I just simply will call randomly your names. Okay now. So, welcome to leading virtual team. Leading team is already a challenge. Now, moreover, leading team virtually is bigger challenge lah. Okay. Now, let me take you into that content. Okay. Hang on. So, you have me and Nadia here. So, this is who we are, my dear friends, from Franklin Covey, Malaysia. As I said, we are the sole licensee. And if you look at my title, is 4DX Practice Leader. Bukan 4DX Cinema ya, my dear friends. 4DX maknanya the 4 discipline of execution. So what I do in leadership resources, simple as this. I facilitate, I teach, I consult, I coach leaders like you on the subject called execution. Maknanya you strategize, you need to execute. The easiest way, or rather the easy thing to do is always the planning. The hardest thing to do is always the execution. So what I do is helping leaders to execute their business plans. Done. Itu saya punya kerja lah. Okay, Now, with that, let me start with this problem statement first. Number 1 challenge in organizations today is not having enough ready now leaders. Number 1 challenge in organization today is all about not having enough ready now leaders. Now, back to all of you. What is your perspective on that? Alia, let me kacau you lah, Alia. Sorry lah, randomly pick lah.
I guess there's no clear succession plans.
Exactly.
When it comes to the second liners, and sometimes there's not enough trust given to the second liners.
Right.
So,
Trust.
Basically, I think it's just largely probably there's some trust lah. I believe that that's one of the biggest things.
Right. But isn't that trust is something that we born with, bukan?
Oh, I don't know. Or maybe it's trust, and also probably the second liners are not seen as confident enough, or in the perception, the perception of the first liners lah. So that's why it might seem like they are not ready enough, but probably they're not given the chance to do so.
Right. It's a very interesting word that you use, trust, because in today's world, trust is seen that whether either you born with it or you don't born with it. But what we teach in Franklin Covey, trust is a pragmatic leadership skill. It's a pragmatic leadership skill. Now, let me put it this way. Alia, thank you so much for setting the tone for me. Okay. In our corporate experience, right? See, Puan Maziatul is multitasking. She's leading the team virtually now. She's on the phone now. Okay. See, it's a joke lah. Okay. You see, in our corporate experience, right? Tabung Haji still a corporation. How many times we would have said to ourselves very quietly, hey, I like the guy's strategy. I like his plan, but I don't know whether I can trust him or not. Sometimes we have done that, right? Yeah. So maknanya there are certain attribution traits, tingkah laku of that particular person that making us to doubt. Walaupun kita suka dia punya plan. So the moment we have the doubt, right, what do? Kita was-was dengan dia punya actions, correct? Whether want to work along. So in that context, what happens is a beautiful business plan, business strategy is not executed because the roadblock kat sini, trust. So leadership and trust, you can't run away, no. You can't detach leadership and trust. So here we say there are certain attributions that leaders, traits lah, behavioral traits, leader must practice in order to establish trust ataupun Alia restore trust. Restore meaning trust is gone, restore trust. These tingkah laku or rather the attributions, right? It comes in two compositions: character behavior, competence behavior. Character behavior, competence behavior. Okay, let me go deeper, yeah. Character. Your integrity is your character. What do you deeply believe is your integrity? Is your character. Your competence. Can you deliver results? That's the competence lah. So your people, anyone will look into two things. Hey, do you have character? Do you have competence? Sometimes people have high character, low competence. Sometimes high competence, low character. But here we say dia kena cantum together, dia kena intercept together. So that's what we say, high, trustworthy, credible leader. So when I do the next session nanti, leading at speed of trust, right? This one. Leading at speed of trust, we will look into 13 behaviors, 13 leadership behaviors. Composition of character behavior, competence behavior. So thank you so much for setting the tone for me, Alia. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. The statement I mentioned now, many organizations, tak kisah MNC ka, local company ka, the problem is there is always a vacuum. Ready now leaders. Ready now leaders. So with that statement, let me ask you another question. This is a general question. Just now someone raised the hand. Was it Azlina, I suppose? Was it Azlina? I remember the name. I think I saw Azlina. Was it Azlina raised the hand?
No.
Yeah,
Yes,
Azlina, over to you. You saying something?
No, I think I tertekan, sorry.
Oh, okay. You were testing the buttons. Okay. Catch out you, Azlina. Sorry, yeah. Okay. You see, let me put it this way. Managing people, right? Was it different than sebelum COVID? Now, after pandemic, during pandemic, virtually, is it different? Koraniza, you were nodding. You're not unmute, yeah?
Yes.
You feel it's different?
Yeah, I feel it's
Okay.
different.
What is different?
I think it's more challenging in terms of the personal interaction and all that, as what you mentioned. I think the process of building up trust, one of the key element, I guess, is the personal interactions. So that is missing during the so-called virtual world. Other than that, in terms of how do you manage, especially in terms of timing, you know, so you need to be fair to the team as a whole. So how you strike a balance. So I find it always a bit a challenge.
Okay, thank you, Ponaniza. You see, human got heart, mind, body, and soul. So while we were working in the office, right, we were leading and so-called, I don't like to use the word managing, we were leading our people, correct? Now, working virtually, we don't see the body, but we're still connected to the soul, heart, and mind of the person. What do we need to manage here? Manage emotion of the other party or just manage as it is? What is the biggest challenge here, working from home? Emotion, right? That is the biggest challenge. Before COVID, people were really want to work from home. Give me 1-2 days, I want to work from home. Now people want to get out from home. Right? because they are confined into four walls. So the biggest challenge now is not leading your people. It is leading your people still. But what I'm saying is leading your people's emotion. That is the biggest challenge. You may agree with me. So it's not about merely people management. It's about emotional management. Point number one. Point number two. What crisis are we in? Are we in a time management crisis or are we in a focus management crisis? Over to all of you. Anyone feel like answering? Are we in time management crisis or are we in a focus management crisis? Which one? Focus management, right, my dear friends? It's focus management. You know how to manage your time. That is a very conventional mindset. You know, I need to manage my time better. You want to manage your time better, but what do you want to focus into? What do you want to learn for today? What do you want to learn for this week? So let me ask the parents here, the spouse and parents here. You got your role as a wife, as a husband, as a spouse, single word, as a mother, as a manager, as a friend, as a daughter. You got different roles now. You tell me, or rather you ask yourself, how do you want to manage now? You want to just manage your time delivering all the roles, ataupun you want to focus on one or two key roles, based on your lifestyle. Today, this week, I want to focus on two roles, wife and a daughter to my parents, or even a mother to my kid. So this is where the focus management comes into play. Similar to you, your people also may have the same roles at home and you are dealing with them virtually. So in the course of you dealing with them virtually, the mindset, I use the word mindset, Minda, mindset, the paradigm. The mindset is, hey, isn't that all of you working from home? You got more time. We are deceiving ourselves, my dear friend. Yeah, I'm using the word deceiving. Maknanya, you are cheating yourself, thinking that you got more time. Actually, you don't have time. Ask yourself whether you had breakfast or not in the first place. Yang muka pun Azizah, belum ambil breakfast kan? See, I can see that. Yes, Maziatul, really. So you don't see, it's not about time management, my dear friends. It's about focus management, emotion management. Got it, So end of the day, you know where I'm leading to now? I'm zoning you into a thing called paradigm, mindset. Cik Madun, you and I to go to Bahau, we don't need GPS. But the rest of the people here, they use GPS. Maknanya, all of us have our own GPS here. GPS itulah tentukan kita punya tingkah laku, our actions, which determine the results we are getting. So if you are not getting the results that you should be getting, leading your team now virtually, think about your mindset first. How are you operating here first? Okay, let me talk about mindset. Mindset is your internal GPS. That mindset telling you to do certain things. By doing certain things, you are getting certain results. So Jazim, let me ask you, Jazim, when you don't get right results, what usually we go and check? Our actions, right?
Yeah, right.
Tapi the actions was determined by my mindset.
True.
Jazim, first time seeing me, right? Probably you'll be listening to me 5-10 minutes. You have a mindset about me, you know. You pernah tengok line trainer. You pernah attend line webinar. Based on that, you have your perception, perception. Your perception can be right, can be wrong. So based on the right, wrong perception, you are putting the action and you are getting the results. So like any other human being, Maziatul and Jamin, what do we do is, when we don't get the right results leading our team virtually, we always look into the actions, but we hardly look into the paradigm mindset. I'm going to play the most important video for the session, paradigm. You see, I have my glasses. Many of us, walaupun tak pakai glasses, kita punya invisible glasses. With that invisible glasses, saya judge you, Encik Madun. I judge you, Encik Sharin. I judge my neighbor. I judge my boss. I judge everything. I interpret the world based on what I see. And my judgment came from my education, my upbringing, my experience, right? Pahit manis ke saya punya experience lah. So based on that, I judge everything. So the concept called paradigm is the #1 problem in the world that makes us do everything. So let's watch the video and then we go deeper into the practices of leading a team virtually. Okay, so my dear friends, okay, you watch the video first, then we'll go into this lah, the Q&A. Okay, yeah. Now, let me play the video first. Khairul, got audio, right, Khairul?
Yes. We can hear it.
Okay, hang on.
So much of what we do in our personal lives and at the office is the result of the paradigms we hold. And what we do, in turn, affects the results we get.
Thanks for coming to the meeting today, everyone.
The word paradigm comes from the Greek root paradigma, meaning pattern. The pattern we expect to see, or the mental image of the way things are. We see everything through the perspective of our own paradigm. If you see your industry as one where growth is impossible, how does that affect what you do every day? And what results do you think you'll get from your actions? On the other hand, suppose you saw unlimited prospects for growth in your industry. How would that change your actions? What we see, our paradigms, determine what we do, which in turn determines what we get. And unless we consciously stand apart from and examine our paradigms, we might never see that perhaps many of them are distorted, short-sighted, or just flat out wrong. I remember a mini paradigm shift I experienced one Sunday morning on a subway in New York City. People were sitting very quietly, some reading, some resting with their eyes closed. Suddenly, a man and his children entered the subway car. The children ran yelling through the car, throwing things, grabbing people's newspapers. Their father sat down near me and closed his eyes and did nothing. I felt irritated. I could not believe he would let his children run wild like that. After a few minutes of patience and restraint, I turned to him and said, "Sir, your children are really disturbing a lot of people. I wonder if you could control them just a little more."
Yeah, you're right. I should do something. But we just came from the hospital where their mother died about an hour ago, and I guess they don't know how to handle it. Yes, I don't know how to handle it.
Can you imagine how I felt at that moment? My paradigm shifted. Suddenly I saw things differently. And because I saw differently, I thought differently. I felt differently. I acted differently. My irritation vanished. Compassion flowed freely. I wanted to help instead of criticizing and complaining. Once you see things as they really are, you'll think, feel, and act differently. And you'll do it automatically, spontaneously. Can you see why paradigms are deeper than attitudes and behavior? If you want to make minor changes in your life, work on your behavior. But if you want to make significant quantum breakthroughs, work on your paradigms.
Okay, welcome back, my dear friends. Interesting video, right? So let's go deeper into paradigm now. The common mindset when it comes to department management or people management or business management, right? I am responsible for my results, which is a good thinking, no harm. It's a good thinking. You are responsible for your results. But being a people manager, people leader, look into this paradigm. I'm responsible for delivering results through other people. So you're not just responsible for results, but you are responsible in leading people to deliver results. So we need to make the paradigm shift in tujuh tabiat orang yang amat berkesan, the BM version of 7 habits, right? We call this anjakan paradigma. I lulus BM, I dapat credit, you know, in SPM. Okay, anjakan paradigma. So we call it paradigm shift. So if all this while we've been thinking that, hey, I'm responsible for my results, here we say, make the transition now, right? Transit to, I'm responsible for delivering results through others. So here it goes, paradigm. See, do, get. Look into the results that you are getting in every single thing that you're doing, my dear friends. In your personal life, in your work life, or every single thing. Your relationship, even with your neighbor, right? Look into the results. What are you getting now? And what you have been doing. And are you seeing in the right way? Because every single thing that you see determines the action. Therefore, we are getting the results. Okay, so here we say mindset first. What is our mindset? Leading our team virtually. I'm not seeing them physically. I'm only seeing them virtually. I'm talking to them, WhatsApp, calls and whatnot. So what is my mindset now? And what are the practices I put? What are the actions I put? And the results that I'm getting? So look into mindset first. That is the first tip. Tip number 1. Look into our mindset first. Okay? Now, common mindset. The other common mindset is, you already saw the first one, yeah? The other common mindset is, I hold one-on-ones to check people's progress. Maknanya, when you call people, when you reach out to your team, what you do is, you only call them, or you have that one-on-ones, right? Meeting ka, call ka, huddle, you call it, right? Just to check on people's progress. Here we say, the effective mindset is, I hold regular one-on-ones to help people stay and engage. Stay and engage. Not just the results. We want engagement. So with that, let me stop sharing. Let me take questions from you. The first tip is mindset. Are we operating in the right paradigm in the first place? Now, let me go deeper, yeah? Let me go deeper into that. Now, paradigm, mindset. My dear friends, you all know the term called principle, principle. Hukum alam. Okay, now, let me ask you this way. Respect, hormat menghormati, respect, Lana, is a universal principle, kan? Maknanya, in Malaysia, we respect people. In Africa, they respect people. In Russia, they respect people. Betul? Okay. Look into our country first. 3 major races, kan? Melayu, Cina, India. All of us practicing respect, the principle called respect. Okay, Only in Malay culture, I'm from a kampung background. Only in Malay culture, when the elders are around, when we walk past, right, kita tunduk a bit. Chinese and Indians, we don't do that. But we still respect. Maknanya, the same principle is being practiced based on cultural belief. Just because Indians and Chinese don't do that, doesn't mean that we don't respect the elders. Make sense? Tapi those people upbringing kat kampung, we do lah. When I go to my friend's house, I do. So look into the mindset now. My paradigm, is it aligned back to the principle, hukum alam? When I want to judge Khairul, am I have the right mindset first? Ataupun saya judge dia based on my experience, my upbringing, my education, and all that. So when you deal with your team virtually, are you aligned back to the universal principle called respect, right? And other things lah. You understand what I'm saying, my dear friends? So the mindset, here we say, if you want to be highly effective in your role as a leader, people manager, mindset must be aligned back kepada hukum alam, universal law. Lana, I tell you what, Lana, in the room, wherever you're attending the training now, there is a gravity working. Maknanya you drop the pen will drop. Kalau dia floating, then you better get out from the room. Okay. So maknanya, gravity is a universal principle. Love is universal principle. Respect is a universal principle. So our mindset, is it aligned to hukum alam? Because every single thing in our holy book, irrespective of our different holy books, it goes back to these principles, these values. So how can one go wrong when we follow principle? Just because we don't see gravity, takkanlah kita lompat daripada tingkat 3 kan? So kita nampak? Whether we believe or not, principle works. It is an action. So the number one principle we need to, if you ask me, my personal experience in these 1.5 years, respect. Because working from home or working virtually kan, bukan senang, my dear friends. Is the hardest thing. I know personally, those people na beria-ria na work from home, memang support lah, hey, work from home is very healthy, this and that, right? Sekarang nak keluar dari rumah. They can't stay at home. Okay, so if you look into this, if you go deeper into the webinar, right, you will realize, hey, there are many things that we need to do, but when it comes to work, leading team virtually, right, there are only few mindset change that I need to shift. Okay, now over to all of you. Any questions? Your insights, not necessarily questions, insights, thoughts. Over to you.
Good morning, Mr. Satyan.
Morning, Lana.
I'm Lana. I'm from the Corporate Communications Department.
Okay.
I don't have many subordinates under me, but I have 3 or 4. I think part to add on to what you just said and taught us, I think empathy is also something that you need to have, because all our daily lives are not the same. I am probably playing 4 different roles, but another person may be playing more than mine. So what I do on a daily basis with my team is that we have a group WhatsApp of our team. Of course, we check on progress of work there because everyone's there in the group. But apart from that, I also do one-to-one, but not merely to check about work, but to also ask them if they need anything that is not work related. Because a staff just had a baby, he's a first-time father. Another staff is staying very, very far away from HQ, so it's not very easy for her to come to work. So that's what we do in our team. We don't always have official meetings regularly, but we talk every day in the group WhatsApp. So anything that is not work related is also discussed. So I think empathy is one thing you need to have while working from home, because people's situation are not the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just want to,
well said, well said. You're doing a great job, Lana. Well said. You know why? My dear friends, empathy bukan sympathy. Empathy, basically you are, the right word, betul-betul memahami. You are listening to someone, Lana. You are listening to someone to memahami. Lepas tu baru difahami lah. Maknanya, you try to understand first, lepas tu buat dia faham you lah. Senang. Seek first to understand, not to be understood. You see, all of us, we listen to people only to do 2 things. You know what? Okay. We listen to counter back. That is a number one challenge in communication. Right? I tell you what, I personally don't believe in team building. My personal belief. Sebab I will go to team building, I hold Encik Amin punya tangan, lontar bola sini ke sana, lontar belon dengan air, semua tu, I enjoy the food, I come back, I do the same thing again in the office. So in the pretext of enhancing communication, we do team building. That is my biasness lah. This is my perspective. The actual solution for teamwork synergy is people must communicate. And communicate maknanya we need to use heart to understand, not use ear to understand. So we always listen to people like, okay, you know why? I want to counter you back. I want to respond to you, reply you, not really want to understand you. So the word empathy is betul-betul memahami. You go deeper into comprehending, really understand the other party. Very good, Lana. Very good point. Okay, yeah. So now let me go deeper into the content. Kalau tak, I will be talking for the whole day. Yeah, boring nanti. Okay, now let me go into this. Okay, so my dear friends, the common mindset when it comes to one-on-ones is again just to check people's progress. Very wrong mindset. Common. Effective mindset says, hey, I hold regular one-on-one. I'm reporting to Lana. So Lana is having one-on-one with me to make sure that I stay and I'm engaged. Okay, yeah. Now, another video of one-on-ones. Then we go deeper into engagement. What is engagement is all about? Another video, yeah.
One of the 6 critical practices to being a great leader and manager is to hold effective, regular one-on-ones. Unfortunately, these meetings often end up as a status update. This is a mistake. If you're a manager and not holding regular one-on-ones with your team members, you're missing out on learning about opportunities and issues. Some of the things you might hear in a one-on-one include, I feel like there's not enough career opportunity at this company, so I've started looking around for a new job. Or, I'm having serious trouble working with this colleague. I don't think I can keep working on this team. Or, the website project is way behind. I don't think senior leadership realizes it at all, and it's going to have huge consequences for our customers. These are things you absolutely need to know as a manager, so make sure you're drawing out these kinds of issues. Here are 5 simple tips so that you can start holding better one-on-ones right away. Tip number 1, hold one-on-ones at regular intervals. Figure out the best interval for one-on-ones for each of your team members. It might be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. When you've agreed on that interval and scheduled it, make sure you stick to it. Rarely, if ever, cancel. If you're canceling, it says to team members that you don't care about them and that their work and development is not a priority for you. Tip number 2, schedule at least 30 minutes. You cannot have a meaningful conversation in less than 30 minutes, so you need to have that at least be the minimum time. Tip number 3, use the prep worksheets to identify top priorities. A lot of managers may schedule one-on-ones, but don't use that time properly to get the issues and opportunities out that need to be shared. It's easy to solve this if both you and your team members use tools to do a little bit of preparation work before each meeting. When you use these prep tools, your one-on-ones will go from awkward to easy and valuable for you and your team members. Tip number 4, draw out issues and interests by listening and asking questions. To start off, your team members might not be comfortable telling you about the issues where they're stuck or information about what motivates them. So go in there, ask questions, and really listen to what they say. You should be talking at most 20% of the time, and the rest of the time you should be listening and asking questions. Let team members bring the issues and ideas that are important to them. One-on-ones are their meetings more than yours. Tip number 5, help team members find solutions instead of trying to solve problems for them. You may be tempted to jump in and try to solve the issues your team members raise for them. That approach does not help in the long run. Why? Because team members won't learn to solve problems for themselves. So instead, help your team members figure out answers for themselves by asking coaching questions. When you take this approach, not only do you develop your team, but you also make your job a lot easier in the process. So those are 5 tips for holding effective one-on-ones with your team. And when you apply the tips, you'll be on the path to being a more effective leader.
Okay, welcome back, my dear friends. So we're going to look into the tips here. Now, before that, let's look into levels of engagement. You guys are there? All of you are there? I've just stopped sharing it. Okay. What we're going to look into now is levels of engagement first. Because that's another, consider the biggest challenge that we're facing today. We have team members, probably, been with you for many, many years. But in the passage of time, right, what happened is they have slowly, gradually disengaged. They are with you. But guess what? Yeah, I mean, they've been with you for 10 years, you know. Meaning, for 10 years, they've been disengaged. You ask them to do certain things, they'll do it for you. Yang ni kita panggil saya menurut perintah lah. Willing compliance. Why do you menurut perintah? Siapa pun tak tahu. Tapi saya menurut perintah. Right? Willing compliance. So what do we need to do? We need to re-engage the disengaged members. Re-engage. You have probably the best people in your team. They disengage due to many, many reasons. One of it is unsaid, untold, unheard emotion. Emotion. Unsaid, untold, unheard emotion. All of us have emotions. Sometimes people are resisting, right? Lana, resisting, nampak macam dia orang rebellious, you know. Actually, they're not rebels. It's just that emotion. So you pull them aside, you talk to them, they will tell you, you know, boss, actually, I rasa macam ni. I tried many times to talk to you, but you never listen to me. So what matters most here? Again, conversation. In that conversation, as Lana said, all we need to practice as a leader is listen, listen, listen. Tapi janganlah pergi macam ni, tell me. Don't do that. People won't talk. There is no safety. Because you are showing your violence. Listen, okay, tell me. Don't tell me don't have time for you. I got 30 minutes. You're supposed to listen, tapi you're telling them only got 30 minutes. Right? Because that person want to condition to do all this, right? Dah ambil 30 minit. But you're only setting 30 minutes. If you truly believe in listening, then don't set time. And it's not one-time listening, it's a process. It's a process. Listen today, listen tomorrow, listen day after tomorrow. So the problem we have now is not that our people don't have talent, our people not good at work. I'm talking about larger organization. I'm not talking about TH. Okay. What we need to do now is we need to increase the engagement. Here it goes, increase the engagement. My dear friends, you have been just listening to me, I know, but if you have any questions, interject. I mean, just ask me any moment you feel like asking.
Sir, question.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, who's this?
Okay.
Azlina, yes, Azlina.
Yeah, Azlina. Okay. What if during the discussion kan, our superior ask us and then we tell them the truth lah. What will happen? What is the impact? But the supervisor don't want to hear the
bad news.
Like yes. What? Macam mana nak cakap? He will say, "Why are you so negative?" We are not being negative. We just want to highlight the issue and what is the impact. So, how to tackle this situation?
Okay, you see, it's a simple tip lah, you know. But again, kalau kita cuba sekali saja, kalau the thinking is, okay, let me try once. If the boss don't want to hear the fact, right? Okay, lepas tu I won't talk anything, I won't say anything lah. If that is our paradigm, then it's a wrong action. As I said, the paradigm must be very clear. I'm not highlighting negativity here. I'm highlighting a concern. So if we want to highlight a concern, there is a way to highlight it. Sometimes, bukan always sugarcoating lah, Norazlina. I'm not saying about just sugarcoating it. What I'm saying is there must be way to highlight the concerns. You need to use, there's a skill called tentative speaking, you know. You need to use word like, Lana, I sense. I can't go to Lana and say, Lana, I think you're doing this, you know. I can still do that. So I need to be, this is communication. So I need to go to Lana and say, Lana, I feel based on my observation, right? My observation. So Lana will say, think that, okay, Satyan, it's your observation, right? Carry on first, okay. If I come across like accusing Lana, Lana, do you think you listen to me? No. Anyone will put the shield first, lah. Defensive shield. So I need to tentatively speak. I sense, I feel, I think, I observe. Then we are engaging in a conversation. Kalau tak is one way. Accusation, accusation, accusation. So there is a way to communicate even the taboo, you know, the things that we don't want to communicate. There is a way to communicate. We call it crucial moment. Let me go into that. I'm not going off tangent. It's a good question that Ponazlina asked about this. It is a crucial moment for you to start a conversation. You know when? When you have opposing opinions. So, Khairul, you are talking about A, I'm talking about B, but we are talking about the same objective. Objective sama, differing opinions. Maknanya, that is a crucial moment for us to start a conversation. Right? So, supposing Khairul is my boss, he's saying A, I'm saying B. In that differing opposing opinions moment, right? I, being a subordinate, I will go into silence, you know. Kan lawan bos lah, mana boleh lawan bos? I go silence. I go silence day 1, I go silence year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Cumulative, the accumulation of the silence for 5 years, right? One day I'll become violence. Boom, meletup. Correct, right? So it's a skill. We need to get unstuck to start a conversation, hold a conversation while maintaining the respect. Respect. It still goes back to respect. Even after having the conversation, saya dengan Khairul, we are not establishing a mutual understanding, fine. Tapi relationship and respect is maintained, done. Not, my dear friends, not necessarily your conversation leading for an amicable solution. Tak. You still can disagree, but you're still maintaining a good relationship and good respect, mutual respect. That. Got it, eh? So, Azlina, the number 1 tip will be, don't simply sugarcoating lah, you know. Yang tu tak payah lah, you know. There is a way to communicate. That's all. That will be my tip. But it actually is a, we call that crucial conversations. Yani. Crucial conversations. Okay? Crucial moment for you to get unstuck and start the conversation. Sebab we culturally, right, we always resort for silence. Tak apalah, saya diam sajalah. Lain kali lah, you know. The lain kali dah 10 tahun, you know. We haven't started a conversation. Understand, Okay. Now, so let's go deeper into this. We are still talking about engagement. Let's look into different levels of engagement. Any questions? Any other things that you want to check with me? Okay. Ada, tak ada? Okay, now. So, my dear friends, now, let me explain this part. The levels of engagement. Nampak tak the dotted line kat sini? Lana, can see, right? Okay, maybe you're nodding to me lah. Okay. You see, below the dotted lines, kita kata indifferent compliance. Maknanya, we have indifferences here, opposing opinions, but I still comply to you because I just listen to you lah. The other one is resentful obedience, maliciously obedience. I know the decision that Azlina is taking, the direction she's taking is wrong, right? But I just obey to her. maliciously. I just want to prove that she's wrong one day. I want her to be wrong. The other one is, the worst is either they are rebel or quit. They fight and fight and fight, or they quit. They quit, okay. They quit and go is fine. They already quit 10 years ago. They still stay with you. They quit, but they stay. You got what I'm saying, right? So here we say, hey, we want to increase the level of engagement, whether they work in the office or whether work virtually, right? We want to increase the level of engagement. We want people to willingly cooperate. Every single thing that my team is doing, they have a heartfelt commitment. And they are creative and excited every day throughout the year. So here we say, let's increase the choices. Let's increase the engagement. So the reason I want to have the one-on-ones with my subordinate called Khairul, not just to check on his progression of work. I want to make sure that Khairul always above this line is either willingly cooperate, he has a heartfelt commitment, he's always creative and excited. Done. Got it, my dear friends? Got it, eh? Okay, now. So, look into this. Lana, as you said, listening empathically increases your ability to understand other people. Just listen. When listening empathically, you move from certainty to curiosity. Maknanya, we are not going with a preconceived mindset. We are going with curiosity. We want to learn more. We want to know more from our people. Instead of assuming you know other people's thoughts, assuming you know people's thoughts, feelings, and perspectives, you are seeking to learn what they see, how they feel. Genuinely listening to people. So you're basically connecting to 4 human dimensions, my dear friend. You're connecting to the other party's heart, mind, body, and soul. Done. Done. So next time, if you really want to listen to someone, do not listen to answer back. Just listen. Just listen. Okay? Now,
Simple. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, was it Khairul? Yeah, go ahead.
Ya, saya just nak highlightkan lah sebab kita on the topic of listening kan. Ada satu soalan dekat chat box ni tanya, Sir, how to be an effective listener? Takkan hari-hari nak dengar je. Kerja kena siap. Plan to meet. So, berkomen.
From Maziatul, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now. So, macam ni. The challenge we have, Maziatul, sorry, I didn't see the question just now. See, the challenge is, okay, I want to get my job done. So are you saying just listen? No. We listen and then we go to another step called who does what by when. Who does what by when? When you say who does what by when, basically you are instituting accountability. Accountability, yeah? Who does what by when? Sebab by when somebody must do something, right? Kalau tak, that will attract another conversation. Betul? So that is preventive accountability. Thank you so much. Now, I'm not going off tangent. Let me share a bit about accountability. Accountability, Now, when we say accountability, in our culture, when I say our culture, Malaysian culture, our culture, accountability is always after fact. Do you agree on that? Maknanya, something must happen for us to preach, advocate accountability. We always believe that accountability is after event session. So when you practice that accountability, memanglah kita menyambut apa? Disaster. Something must happen. Okay, Lana, accountability, you're accountable, right? So in the process of accountability, I don't check things with you. I don't do huddle with you. Tapi come the deadline, I want to hold you accountable. Maknanya something must happen in order for you to be held accountable. Yang tu kita panggil cari scapegoat. Scapegoat. Here we say look for preventive accountability, not curative. This is time for you to write down lah, because you can't take everything here, right? Because if you just listen, dia similar to drinking from the fire hose, you know. Bomba punya fire hose. It's too much, right? Write it down. Okay, you see, our culture says curative accountability, maknanya something happen, you want to practice accountability to cure, untuk mengubat. But the actual accountability is prevention. Preventive accountability. Who does what by when? Tapi kita shock buat curative. Makes sense, right? Now, let me go much deeper into accountability. How many of you in your leadership, in your team management, you use the word like, hey guys, we need to be proactive, you know. And sometimes before you go to bed, when you think about your team you think, hey, how nice if my team is proactive. Proactive, huh? You are basically telling yourself you want your people to get job done faster. Betul ke? Betul kan? That is not proactivity, my dear friends. There is a wrong definition of proactivity in the market kat luar kat sana. When you say, I want my people to be proactive, you are thinking that you want your people to be faster, efficient. It's a wrong definition altogether. The actual word definition of proactive is make a choice. There are 4 principles of hukum alam under the word called proactivity. First one, accountability. You choose to be accountable. See the word? Second, responsibility. You choose to be responsible. The third one, initiative. You choose to take different initiative. And the last one, being resourcefulness. You are an accountable person. You are a responsible person. You are taking different initiative, tapping into different resources to get job done. That is the real definition of be proactive. In the 7 Tabiat program, we call it habit 1, jadilah proactive. So when we engage in a conversation, we are basically looking for solution. So we need to say that, hey guys, you need to be proactive. Huh? Who does what by when? Because you're accountable, you're responsible. Done. Nampak senang lah, still theoretical, but when you go for actual learning, it's different. I'll give you more skills and you will practice skills. But if you think that, you know, you dah dapat the silver bullet, want to kill the vampire, sorry lah. Because it's a process. Leadership is a journey. It's not an event. Event satu kali. Journey is a process. Got it, eh? Okay. So that is proactivity and all that. So my dear friends, think about preventive accountability. And number one thing as being a leader is you must model it. Model it. Right? Don't just preach, you know. Preach, maknanya preach, you know. Kita buat khutbah saja, tapi kita tak practice anything. So, model, leadership modeling. If you want to see some changes in your team, be the change. Lead the change. Sebab change is not macam Panadol, you know, sakit kepala ambil Panadol. Yang tu quick fix. Untuk get rid kat sakit kepala, you need to drink more water. It's a process. Right? Minumlah 4 ml air. Tapi kita ambil Panadol saja, you know, macam chewing gum, you know, makan saja. So it's not the right action. Okay? Now, so with that, let's go deeper into engagement and the tips of having one-on-ones. One-on-ones, that is most important. You can spend 20-30 minutes as a team meeting once a week. Tapi the team huddle, right? 5-10 minutes a day. I tell you, my friends, that's where the magic happens. Huddle. HU, you know the huddle, the team huddle. 5 minutes saja satu hari. Done. So let me give you the tips for that. Okay, hang on. Okay, here you go. First one is hold one-on-ones at regular intervals. 2 hari sekali. Mungkin. Schedule at least 30 minutes for each meeting. Yang ni once a week lah. Use the prep worksheet, which I'm going to share now. Draw out issues and interests. Help to find solutions rather than solve the problem. So be a coach. Yang ni coaching, help your team members to improve their thinking instead of giving them ini solution dia ambil kau. Don't do that. Okay, help your team members to improve their own thinking. Okay, yeah. If you can see this, if you want to take picture, go ahead and take picture. The one-on-one prep for manager. Okay, your name, team member's name, the outcome, the person involved, current development, the project or task to ask about. Done. And then here are the challenges, opportunities, and support. Okay, this is for you. Got it, eh? Now, let's go deeper. Think about, okay, see, you have seen tip 1, tip 2, tip 3. You've been hearing from me, right? You've been listening to from me, right? Okay. Think about, this is for you. What was your most important insight so far from this practice? So think about it. You can write it down. Okay, yeah? So you capture your own goal, my dear friends, because you're not attending a workshop, you're attending a webinar. So you capture your own goal now. Okay. With that, now let's go into another mindset. Another mindset. The common mindset is, hey, I tell team members what to do and how to do it. Common mindset. Let's look into effective mindset. Hey, I help team members get clear about why behind the what and support them in the how. Okay, try to go deeper, my dear friends. I help team members get clear about the why, the mission, why, right? And behind the what, the goal, and support them in the strategy, the how. The why is your mission, vision. The what is your goal. And the how is the strategy, how to get there. Okay, another video, my dear friends, very profound, compelling video. It's all about clarity, clarity, clarity. It's all about people aligned to the most important goal of your department, of your business. Okay, now I'm going to share that. Interesting video. Now.
Salir a tiempo es llegar a tiempo en donde tú vas a viajar. Salir a tiempo es llegar a tiempo para ver a tu familia.
Copa vision is to be the best connections in Latin America for passengers.
We started by finding out what was most important to our customers.
To be there on time.
Llegar a tiempo.
Llegar a tiempo. On-time arrival. That's our corporate goal.
To be right on time. And on time means with all the papers that the captain needs, all the bags, all the foods, and all the passengers.
15 years ago when I started in Copa, basically our on-time performance was almost a toss of a coin. And it was a 50-50 chance of departing on time. We had days of 10% on-time performance.
We looked at what we considered world-class airlines, and we saw on-time performance in the mid-80s. So we set ourselves a goal to get to those levels.
So we started then looking at other airlines, how they did it, and basically filmed the way they turn around aircraft. And then we came back to Panama and we practiced. And we started measuring the time that it took every process. We timed how long it took for the passengers to get deboarded, how long it took for the cleaners to clean the aircraft, how long it took for everything. We really focus on the things that we can control. And we have a saying here that if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. Originally, it was 58 minutes it took us to turn around an aircraft. And then we were able to lower it by improving on these processes down to 35 minutes.
Communication and the effort that we put in it has allowed for our company goals, our company values, our vision to be real, to be something that we live by.
Now everybody knows what we're doing and where we're going because we've cascaded our objectives.
Cascading is passing the company goals to every level in the company. So everybody that works here knows how his work can contribute to the goal.
Once we set those goals, we have to make sure that our job is directly connected to those goals.
We used to do just our jobs. Now we do whatever is needed to get the company achieve their goals.
At the beginning, only the supervisor gives the answers to the employees. Now each employee has the tools to fix it.
Antes de tener nuestro goal de on-time performance, los capitanes tomaban todas las decisiones. Al final, ellos estaban a cargo. La primera vez que cerré la puerta de los aviones, los capitanes preguntaron, hey, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Quién eres tú? Yo le dije, yo soy Ramfi García y vamos a operar en tiempo.
Buenos días, señoritas. Voy para Buenos Aires.
Gracias. Su atención, por favor. Este es el último llamado para pasajeros viajando del vuelo 116 con servicio a San José, Managua y Guatemala.
We look for the passengers. We don't wait. Because if we wait for the passenger, we are going to be delayed. They know that if they wanted to fly in Copa, they have to be on time here. Because we are going to departure on time.
This is your final call for passengers flying to Flight 116, San Jose, Managua, and Guatemala.
Even our vendors want us to reach our goals. They cheer for us and we celebrate together.
The on-time performance is like a religion for us.
When we celebrate 100%, it's not 100% in Panama, it's 100% across the board, system-wide.
When we get 100%, we celebrate. We bring pizzas, we bring chicken, we have barbecues.
So we make a big deal with it. We make sure that it's like a wow.
We want to be the best airline in Latin America.
The best, the best, the best.
On-time arrival. That's our corporate goal.
Okay, welcome back. Goal clarity. Everyone is clear about how they want to contribute or what do they need to do. So, can we create that clarity within our own department? You got what I'm saying? It's all about clarity. Okay, now there is any questions? I think there is something in the chat box. Let me have a look. Azman, right? How do we overcome physical material hurdle to overcome demands, especially from the bosses? How to overcome inexperienced bosses who are unwilling to listen? Azman, you want to elaborate on your question? You want to elaborate question? You want to elaborate your question? What do you mean by?
Hi, good morning. Okay, just to elaborate the question, first thing about the first question is on the material or physical hurdles that actually are not there or unavailable as to the incumbent or to the person who are you asking the to do the things, right? To do the activity, to do the assignment and so on. But because this is some things that comes from so-called the top, right? So but the things are not there, right? The physical material, the resources is not there. But usually the bosses or the head or just ask you do this, but they don't know. And they don't have not enough experience. They just come in and they say that, oh, you do this, but there's no resources, there's no material, there's no things that they ask is not there, but it's keep on demanding. But when you say that these are the things, this is the hurdle 1, 2, 3, 4, say that, or you just sort it off yourself. So how to communicate effectively to overcome and on the flip side also, if you are bosses, right? How do you to react to this kind of situation?
Right. Okay.
So that basically covers the two questions.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Azman. Interesting question. I look at this question as you asked me to walk, but there's a roadblock. So my answer will, or rather my approach will be this. I will look into the choices I have. I'm looking about proactivity. I'm accountable, responsible to deliver what I need to deliver. Now with this situation, I need to tap into a different initiative altogether. I need to tap into different resources. First of all, I will highlight to that particular boss the purpose. How or what my department is existing for. I will highlight the 3 key things. The first thing is, what is the job to be done of my department? What is the money-making model of my department? Although I'm not directly making money lah. And then the third is, what is my strategic link? How do I link to the larger organization this way? Or maybe how do I contribute to another department horizontally? So first is I highlight the job to be done. I highlight the money-making model. And then I also highlight the strategic link. Because all these, right, demands resources. We call it resource generation model. So I will go with a compelling business case in the first place. I will attempt, I will try. I'm not saying that by doing all these, you will get a solution, but I'm trying to find a solution together with the boss. Because sometimes it happens that we also need to give a pinch of salt. The bosses might think that we are not taking enough initiative. Actually, you can get the job done. It's just that you're not taking enough initiative. That could be boss's paradigm. But if I go with a compelling business case, right, to say that, hey, I exist to deliver this job to be done. This is my money-making contribution. This is my strategic link. Then I'm basically resting a case. The biggest problem in communication, that is a communication issue actually, what Azman highlighted. The biggest problem is people don't see, or rather people don't, most of the time they don't have a business case for a communication, for a conversation. That's why it can be easily cut off, You know what I'm saying? So when you go with a compelling business case, then you have a case, basically. So if you ask me, Satyan, are you saying that just by going by business case, you can find a solution? No. But you are establishing a case in the first place. Otherwise, forever, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong lah. You send email, no reply. You go knock the door, no one is opening. Forever it will be like that. So come up with a compelling case first. And the compelling case comes from you clarifying the purpose of your team. What is the job to be done of your team? If this is a job to be done, what is the resources needed? What is the money-making contribution of the team? You are clear? What are the resources? What is the strategic link? My dear friends, let me tell you about alignment. Azman, that is a slightly alignment issue also, My dear friends, you may agree this with me. The alignment that always we establish, vertical. If you are reporting to CEO, you are aligned to your CEO. Betul? How about horizontal alignment? Do you know your neighbor's name? Sometimes even after 10 years, we don't know our neighbor's name, Horizontal alignment. That is the #1 missing link in most organizations. So my goal, I own under 80%, but Lana, you need to support me 20%. You know what I'm saying? But if there is no alignment this way, are you going to contribute to 20%? No. So that is another issue. That's where the problem comes. Like, hey, you go settle things for me. Actually, you can do it, All the unwanted culture started evolving, And then over time, it's become cultural issues. Okay, there is a question in the chat box. Let me have a look. Mr. Satyan, isn't that what you have explained applicable for non-virtual team as well as? Yes, exactly. That's how I started the session. We are still talking about, Shafina, we are still talking about people management, team leadership. Not necessarily virtually, yeah? Team leadership. Because we are still connecting to heart, mind, body, and soul of other person. Done. Done. Don't just drag the body and get the job done. There is a soul, you know, the spirit. You need to connect to that first. Okay, yeah? And what will be the most compelling attribution to lead for a virtual team? The most important thing is like the Copa Airlines, Shafina, clarity. You have your financial year, right, my dear friends? January to December, correct? We are completing August, kan? You go ask your, I bet you lah, a good healthy betting. Go ask your team members, dalam 8 bulan ni, tak ada MCO, tak ada MCO, don't look into that. Ask them what they have been busy with. Executing the top priority of the department ataupun executing the taufan ka, whirlwind ka, you know what I'm saying, talking about? So ask your own team what they've been busy with. Executing the top priority macam Copa Airlines, on time, ataupun busy doing every single thing or every other things. You go and ask your team. Then you will know after 8 months into financial year, the gaps you have, KPI gaps. I'm going to tell you something which is not very a bit deja vu lah. How many times in our career KPI achieved, not the bottom result? Ada kan? KPI achieved, but not the actual bottom result. Ni sunyi sepi je, kenapa?
Always.
Blending.
Always.
Actually. Yeah.
Happens, right?
It's a group thing, eh?
Sorry?
It's a group thing. Always KPI achieved, but not the bottom result.
Yeah. So your people, when they achieve the KPI, not the bottom result, how are you going to question them? They're going to counter you, hey boss, I achieved my KPI. So ask yourself, are we heavily on KPI centric or we are not heavily on the bottom result at all? All of us are KPI centric. Nothing wrong with KPI. But look into Copa Airlines just now. KPI is on time. Contribution is behavior. So they are connecting behavior to KPI. My dear friends, I'm leading you to a word called execution. KPI is just an indicator you're performing. Not necessarily you're executing your top priorities. You got what I'm saying, my dear friends? I mean, Sharin? Right? From the boardroom, right? Boardroom lah. For you to go to the field, there are many things will come and stop you. You know, you go to any business training, any business school, you know, what MBA ka, apa-apa ka, you will know there is a business planning syllabus, tak ada execution syllabus. They always teach you to plan. They hardly teach you to execute. Kalau nampak ada video tadi, in the video, they are executing their top KPI on time. Kalau on time, all the year, right? Customer happy, they come back to you. You make more money. The other revenue KPI also achieve. You see the connection now? So you, when I say you, don't get me wrong lah. We. Okay, I'm part of you now. We need to ask this question. Can we create that Copa Airlines clarity with our people when they are working virtually, working physically in office? Make sense, right? End of the day, goal clarity. People must know the why, the what, and the how. Kalau tak, my dear friends, nampak tak piagam pelanggan? All the charter, right? Lana, is a beautiful art hanging on the wall. I memang gross a bit, but that's a fact. Right? So kita kena tahu lah sebab tu there's a difference. Knowing and understanding, two different things. Correct? So clarity, that is another tip. Clarity, yeah. Now let me go into that again. Please feel free to ask any questions. Please feel free. It's your session actually. Okay, now. So let me go into this. Now, look into this, my dear friends. The why. Here we say, align to organizational priorities, the why. Effective leaders are clear about the value and contribution of their teamwork to the organization. Done. So ask yourself, are you creating this to your team, or have you? Or do you need to reinstate this again? Okay, the why, aligned to organizational priorities. What are the top 3 priorities of your department, Puan Shafina? Your top 3 priorities. What are your managers' most important goals? If the manager is reporting to you, how does your team contribute to your department's priorities and managers' goal? Done. So you need to know these 3 pointers. Okay. Now, the what? Define goals and desired results. Effective leaders define the team goals and desired results. They clarify the significant outcome that represents fulfillment and success for the team. So my dear friends, remember we talked about KPI just now? Achieve KPI, not the bottom result. This is all about the bottom result. Clarify the significant outcome and represent the fulfillment and success for the team. Not only emphasizing on KPI. You must explain, or rather establish the significant outcome each of the KPIs. Kalau tak, willing compliance lah, saya menurut perintah. I do because my boss asked me to do. Okay? And the how. Delegate the work. Sorry? Someone asking something? Sorry? Okay. Delegate the work. Effective delegation discussions engage people in the detailed work to achieve the team goals and desired results. So, delegate, define, align. Done. Now, delegation discussions. State the why, state the what, discuss the how. Okay? Now, delegation examples. Examples. Here you go. Let me minimize this. You can see this, right? Okay. Simple tip. Got it, huh? Now, delegation planner. Again, simple tip. You want to take picture? Go ahead. So, we remember we talked about accountability. Look into accountability. Look into resources. Azman, this is, you can use this, Azman, to have a conversation with your boss. Okay? Look into the why this work is important. So, this is for you. It's a tip for you. Okay, now. So, you need to capture the goal. I suppose you have captured the goal, yeah? Now, let's go into this. Another mindset. This is about feedback. The common mindset when it comes to giving feedback, I give feedback so I can fix people's problem. That is common mindset. Look into effective mindset. I give and also seek feedback to elevate the entire team. You raise up your entire team. This is effective mindset. Okay? Let's look into our blind spots when we give feedback. Another video, yeah? The video title is Blind Spots. I'm going to play the video.
You know what? Last year's projections, we noticed that it was going to be a lot higher.
If you turn to page 10,
A memo
you'll
on
see
this.
that
I
there
really
is-
wanted you guys to work as a team. I don't know what's happening here, but you know, that's pretty much it. I expect to see your reports and next quarter's projections in my email box this afternoon.
Ever gonna end?
Here we go again.
I know. Those meetings just drag on and on.
She's driving me crazy.
Where does she get off? Trying to tell everyone how to do their own jobs anyway.
I don't know.
As if Carmen even knows what's going on.
I don't trust Carmen.
Who does?
How long has she been here? 3, 4 months?
Try 6.
It feels like 6 years.
Yeah, well, don't worry. She won't last long here anyway.
You know, you guys should just tell her what's going on.
You're right. I'm not gonna do it.
Don't look at me. How about Anthony?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll do it.
You bet he will. He'll tell her straight up. He's the boss. It's his job.
How are you doing as a manager? Well, that's a good question. Good. You're doing a real good job. You're assertive. Your projects, they're coming along, and I really think you're on top of things.
But where am I falling short? Am I really doing a good job?
Yeah, great job. Great. But teamwork? Yeah, teamwork is something that always needs some work and some effort. We can all work. I can work on that. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Anthony.
Sure. Anytime.
Yeah, if you could just send that to me in an email, that'd be perfect. Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hey, Jill, do you have a minute?
Sure. Come on in.
I was wondering if I could ask you something.
Oh, of course. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been working here, 6 months now? And I was wondering if I'm really being effective, you know?
You're concerned you're not getting the job done?
Well, I guess. I just don't know if my style is going over well. I overheard this conversation between some of my team members, and they were so critical. I mean, they made it sound like I was some kind of tyrant or something. I don't know.
And that has you concerned about how you come across to others. Well, it sounds like it was a pretty pointed conversation.
That's an understatement. But what do you think? I mean, we've been working together on the Mumbai project. Do I really come across that harsh?
Do you really want to know?
Apparently, I need to hear it.
Here's what I've observed. When we're in meetings together, I've noticed that people seem to shut down, that there's no free flow of ideas. They're afraid to open up. I know a couple of people who are afraid to say anything at all because they're fearful you'll criticize them in front of the rest of the group.
Any questions? Great. Do I really come across that harsh?
That's been my experience.
Well, why didn't Anthony tell me?
Well, Carmen, would you like a specific example?
Yes, I would.
Remember last week's meeting? Bob had spent hours on a proposal that would cut costs by 15%. He was really excited.
Well, he never mentioned it.
No, he didn't. After you criticized Kim's proposal in front of everyone, he slipped it back into his briefcase. He told me later that he would just talk with IT himself.
Really? All my life, I've gotten ahead by being assertive, you know, by being direct. I thought that's what got me this job in the first place.
Those are great qualities to have, Carmen, especially in a manager.
But being direct doesn't work.
Haven't I been direct with you?
Well, yeah, but...
But what?
It seems... It just feels different coming from you. Good morning, everyone. It's a lovely morning, isn't it, today?
I like your idea, Claudia. I think that'll work well. Now, you've got your team together. Mark told me earlier. Would you like to close that now?
Yes, I noticed that.
Lot of freight going in that area. You know what that tells me?
You have your team ready to go, Marcus? When there, like you mentioned, the judge who was very strict.
Yes.
Do you see what we have on the board?
It's on like it's...
Okay. Welcome back, my dear friends. Okay. Simple tip, yeah? How to give feedback. How to give feedback, yeah? Clarify your intent. Ask for their perspective. Share specific observations. Describe the impact. Agree on action. So this is part of the conversation actually. Okay. Two types of feedback. Reinforcing, redirecting. Reinforcing, redirecting. Okay, yeah? Now, so I'm going to stop sharing here, but remember this word, reinforcing, redirecting, and then I'm stop sharing. I'm going to see you now. Okay. Reinforcing is simple. You notice some good values and behaviors, good contributions of your team members. Therefore, you're saying that, okay, you know what, Puan Shafina, remember during the project you did ABC, it was excellent, you know. I think you should continue doing that. Reinforcing. Basically, you're validating a good behavior. Good. People feel good, you know, wow, my boss noticed that, right? Redirecting, which is they were good at one point, but today they are not good. Therefore, you want to redirect them. They were here, so redirect them here. Now, this is the right way. You're telling them, hey, remember Lana, 6 months ago, you were doing it differently. Now, I think something is not right. I think you should emulate, rather you should copy paste your 6 months ago behavior. Now, redirecting. But also ask feedback. Okay, anything that I need to do as a boss now, you know? As much as it's quite easy to give feedback, make it easy to receive as well. Make it easy. I use the word make it easy. So there are two types of feedback. Actually, it's a coaching conversation, you know. You are validating a good trait, reinforcing, reinstating. You also notice a good trait some time ago. Now no more. Redirecting again. Done. But end of the day, my dear friends, it all begins with the one thing called mindset, mindset, mindset. Let me tell you that it's an excellent concept actually. And that mindset, the moment our paradigm is aligned to universal principle, I tell you what, we live in heaven. We are creating heaven. Seriously. Because we always look into actions. Your KPI is action, right? What mindset are we subscribing into our KPI? Makes sense, right? Otherwise, your people are just performing KPI. They are not in a meaningful work. So you need to create the meaningful work for them. You clarify the what, the how, and the why. You clarify that to them, like Copa Airlines. If they can look for the passenger, right? Meaning they align to the corporate goal. On time, on time, on time. Done. These skills, the tips that I just given you, right? It's not about virtual team alone. It's about people management. Actually, I don't like to use the word people management. You don't manage people, you lead people. Like Azman, my dear friend. You're there still, Azman? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Do not try to manage your boss. As much as you don't want to manage your people, do not try to manage your boss. Please lead your boss. Boss also another human like us. He has his own heart, mind, body, and soul. He also can be disturbed most of the time, correct? Like us, lah. So if you try to manage your boss, right? Okay, boss, you know, don't lead your boss. Make your boss shine. Done. And end of the day, it's not a rocket science. Common sense. But we need to commonly practice, lah, Azim. Right? Common sense. Need to commonly practice, lah. We are done with the session. Over to you, Q&A now. My dear friends, not only on this subject, you can ask me anything about leadership. It's not that I know the answer. It's just that I meet more leaders out there. Whatever the practices, best practices, I'm going to share with you. That's all. It's not that, saya duduk bawah pokok, berkhutbah apa tu lah, tak ada. Bukan macam tu, I do more classes. I interact with more other leaders out there. So the best practices from the market, I bring it to you. That's all. It's not that I know more than you.
I have a question, Sadian.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah.
My name is Shazali, kan? Okay. Okay, you telling about leading a virtual team, kan? Okay, what is the communication tool on doing it? Sebab I punya issue is I lead a group of engineers and lead a group of engineers and lead a group of pelayar klasik, kan? So what is the most effective communication tool? Because we do contact virtually and by walkie-talkie lah. Can you share some of your tips?
Okay, I think you are looking for a technical answer lah, correct, Shazali?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I punya experience kalau I might share, I always guna autocratic lah. Sebab kalau diorang tu atas kapal semua, so kalau tak menjerit tak marah semua, dia tak akan dengar punya. They won't listen lah. I try empathy before, tak jadi. Tak pernah jadi kan. I kena jadi general to them lah. So maybe lepas tengok your video, I nak jadi empathic leader sikit. Tapi bila you empathic leader, dia orang ni macam pijak kepala you sikit lah kan.
See Shazali, actually I don't know what is the real situation you're facing. Tapi what I can hear from you, you have a paradigm about your people.
Yes. No.
Right? Orang macam ni saya kena jerit. Orang macam ni saya kena bising. Right? Do you want to look into your paradigm dulu? Because jerit and bising kan, yang tu action, That action, because of the mindset you already fixed kat sini. So if you can go look into adjust your mindset a bit lah, maybe the action is much better. Mungkin macam daripada jerit kat dia orang 10 kali sehari, you mungkin jerit 5 kali. You're reducing a bit.
Lah, I mean kan. Sebab I kongsi you my situation lah. Sekarang ni monsoon. Ribut taufan kan. Tolak I nak lead virtually kan. Kita tengah jumpa kan. My captain tak nak cross Sabah Sarawak. Okay. So the only way is threaten and tu je lah kan. Jerit lah kata you going to lose your job lah semua ni. Kalau tak pergi kan. Tapi kalau bila I empathy, nanti dia kata tolonglah. I don't want to cross kan semua. So lah. Kalau you can share more communication tool lah. I mean.
Okay. No, you're not looking at tool actually. If you ask me now, what I can sense, you're not looking into device. You're looking into the methodology of the communication, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. When you practice empathy, see this empathy thingy, right? Communication, dia bukan macam okay lah saya dengar aja. Don't be the Mr. Nice Guy, Shazali. You still be the same Shazali, tapi practice empathy with the preventive accountability. Faham tak?
Example preventive accountability macam mana? Yeah. Example?
You need to be very clear who does what by when. You need to make sure that people come to you. They hold themselves accountable. You tak nak hold them accountable. You need to build the accountability culture, right? That where they are holding themselves accountable, you are not. The problem is we boss, we cekup orang, we hold people accountable. But we want to create a culture where they are holding themselves accountable. So this one, Shazali, you can't write in your module, in your operation module, You need to build the culture. So you need to model it. What is accountability at a personal level is all about. So when you commit on something, be the first one to report on the commitment. So when they make the commitment, they must be the first one to report on the commitment. So that's what we call preventive accountability. Kalau tak, you're not reporting to each other regularly. What happens is you suspect they are doing, or maybe you suspect they are not doing. So there must be a regular, remember the one-on-one just now, the regular one-on-ones, that is not just to check on the progression. That is to make sure that people stay engaged in the course, in the journey. So there is accountability, there is a responsibility. The key word, Shazali, who does what by when. Yang tu by when paling penting lah.
Okay, I'm writing down. I will use
Who
it.
does what by when?
Yeah. What does what by when kan? Betul. Okay, that's a good point also. Right.
Yeah, that's the by when paling penting, the deadline.
Okay. Alright.
So you tengoklah pattern dia. We call it, satu lagi Syazali ya, CPR. Content, pattern, relationship. Katakanlah you ada issue accountability Syazali ya. You need to look into the content first. Do we have serious accountability issue? The answer is yes. Look into the pattern. Katakan Shafina reports to you. Berapa kali dia breach accountability? Katakan Lana reporting to you. How many times she breached the accountability? Pattern. And look into the relationship. You know Shafina for 10 years. You can go to Shafina, ask Shafina, why lah, apa dah jadi? You have better relationship. Lana is new, just graduated, right? A new generation altogether. How do you deal with her? So you must practice you punya CPR, content, pattern, relationship. So when you have the right content, the right pattern dia kan, the pattern then you have a case for accountability. Dengan Shafina, I deal this way. Dengan Lana, I deal this way. Kalau tak, you start shouting to everyone, relationship pula strain nanti.
Okay. Good tips. Noted. I will try nanti. Yeah.
Right. Cuba try. Okay. Any other questions, my dear friends?
I have a question, Mr. Satya.
Yes, Pon Shafina.
Right. Okay. In general, for my own team, I don't have a problem with all my team. We have worked, I think, in a very good team, and we have executed, alhamdulillah. I think we are in a good track. My main concern is actually like this. How do we tackle, because as in a big organization, we must orchestra, or we have to compose the different departmental punya contribution, because I'm sorry, I am in the CEO office doing the strategic planning. So the most important is actually now when you say about the leaders and this virtual thing, I think the biggest issue now is actually that not only within my own team, there will be a different team that require, because obviously as a big organization, it will come from a different, I call it a multiple contribution from others. So now macam mana kita nak spreadkan the effective leadership itu kepada yang lain, so that nanti they can, we can cumulatively become a successful organization at large. Sebab kadang-kadang kita punya, I'm not saying that my team is perfect enough, but I'm saying is actually maybe yang lain tu less effective, which is require a hammer ataupun something that we have to consistently remind again and again, and then bila kita tengok as general, nanti kita nampak macam it's not effective, not because of because I call it just because of one or two team, the whole team at large considered as being affected. So macam mana kita nak extend the effectiveness itu to all? Because obviously, like you said juga, lain orang, lain caranya, the different background, different upbringing, different things, different elements of empathy is there, everything is check. Tapi kita tidak boleh control the outcome because it's actually there's a lots of variable outside. Jadi macam mana tu?
Okay, good question. What we need to do now is we need to create a strategic alignment. You see, supposing your CEO, there are 10 people, CEO minus 1. All the 10 people are vertically aligned to CEO. I can tell you that, I can bet you that. They know exactly how they contribute to the CEO. Done. But what is missing is this alignment, horizontal alignment. We use the word clear line of sighting. My dear leaders, all of you are horizontally interdependent. You need to agree to that. You can claim that, hey, this is my goal. Guess what? You only own a goal. This is, I'm talking from not academically lah. You probably only own your goal at 80%. 20% you are still dependent on another department this way. So the missing part here, Puan Shafina, is this alignment. You know what you need to do? All the CEO minus 1, minus 2, They need to sit together. They need to exchange, ratify. I use the word ratify, yeah? R-A-T-I-F-Y. Ratify each other's top 3 priorities this week. Right? So they are validating each other, you know. I must truly understand what is Azim's goal, because I'm dependent 20% on his contribution. He's dependent on Lana. So the alignment must be done this way first. But unfortunately, most organizations, they always measure vertical alignment. They hardly measure horizontal synergy. So the problem we have is clarity at horizontal levels. That is the number 1 issue. And unfortunately, that always happens at CEO -1. I've seen many companies. CEO -1, there is always a mismatch of horizontal alignment. That's why I say, after working 10 years, I don't even know my peer's name. Seriously, very pathetic. So, Iza, Nurul, write this down. Huh? Yeah. In fact, there is a plan with Ryan actually. You know, we want to create that alignment this way. Most important. But look into your business planning. You will go into your business planning maybe September, October, right, for next year. Right, Pon Shafina? When CEO says, right, hey, let's go conquer the Everest, all of you will be shouting, yes, boss, let's go conquer the Everest. Have you ever asked, why do you need to conquer the Everest? That again. Because, yeah. Most of the conquering Everest, right, kita panggil, sorry ya, sometimes, hangar-hangar tai ayam, whims and fancies. Tapi masuk saja next financial year, January, we start doing everything else, but not conquering the Everest. You understand what I'm saying? Masa itulah, you know, masa itulah kita lose kita punya focus from our conquering Everest. So the number 1 job to be done, if you ask me, don't look into vertical alignment, is always there. Look into horizontal alignment, lateral alignment this way. You have your company, I mean, your organization, you have line department, you have support department, correct? Some of the top goals, right? The support department must be thinking, I don't see my contribution. When they don't see their contribution, what are they doing then for the entire year? It's very, very unfortunate, you know, Shafina. Their job, see, okay, let's look into Copa Airlines. I'm going into coaching consulting now already, yeah? Look into Copa Airlines. Looks like the ticketing department, customer service department, and whoever moving the trolley, this and that, right? They are the only department responsible for airborne, right? Airborne, on time. How about IT department? They need to make sure uptime. Correct or no, Lana? So everyone is contributing. Kalau IT not on time or uptime, right? How the system going to work? So none of the departments in an organization can claim that, hey, I don't see my strategy connection lah. Tak boleh. That's why I said to Azman just now, the 3 things. You exist as a department, what is your job to be done? Job to be done. A very famous leadership guru, late Dr. Clayton Christensen, he said, if you fail to identify your job to be done, you don't have rights to exist in the organization. Right? Look into your KPIs. Most of the KPIs that you're carrying now, itu dah jadi inherited, you know. You mewaris the KPI. That KPI was created 20 years ago by someone. Do you think the KPI is still relevant? Maybe not. Puan Syafina, betul kan? Kita mewaris the KPI. Why the KPI under you? You don't want to ask lah. Because challenging the status quo. That's a fact. Sometimes we don't want to challenge the status quo. It's a fact. It's a fact. If we have this I mean, there's no such word lah. In clarity issue at our level, just imagine our people. Just imagine our people. That's what I'm saying. Most of the time, it's not the people issue. right, is the alignment issue, clarity issue, clarity. Look into your very own performance. After 8 months into financial year, where are you? You busy lawan dengan Taufan dengan ribut ke? Ataupun you busy landing your top 3 goals for the year? Ask yourself. And ask yourself whether you still remember the top 3 goals. Because, you know whirlwind kan? Whirlwind. Hari ni whirlwind, Taufan tiup dalam memang mungkin 100 km per hour lah. Besok 200 km, you know. You dah mula hilang. So that's why I say when I started, it's not about time management. It's about focus management. So don't manage your time. You're good at that already. You have your, if you have your phone to tell you, your planner, your diary, every other device you have to tell you that you need to manage your time. But you don't have a tool to guide you focus management. Okay? So consider that, my dear friends, focus management, not time management. Can I give you another tip if you don't mind? Every Sunday, I mean, you know this. That's what I'm saying. What we know is not common practice. Common sense, not common practice. Because Pon Shapina, a man like me, consistently inconsistent. Consistently inconsistent. So every Sunday, spend 15 minutes only, identify your big role for the year, for the week. The roles will change. You may have 10 different roles, right? You may have a family role, corporate role, religious role, social role, and whatnot lah. Okay. What is the most important role for next week? Okay. Bye, Alia. Thank you for your time, Alia. Thank you. What is your most 3 important roles for next week? Okay. Boss, spouse, another one. What do you want to achieve in that particular role? So that every week you're achieving something. You're becoming consistent in executing your top 3 roles every week. And the subsequent week, pula, different role. Right? You don't want to miss your prayers. Seriously, yeah? You don't want to miss your prayers. So the role is being a Muslim. What is your role? Right? Social. Do you want to do charity for that week? Social role. Kalau tak forever week, one day. Cik Madun, last year, 31st December, I set a goal. I want to work out lah. You know, the only execution I did on the workout, I registered in the gym. That's the only exercise. Lepas tu saya tengok the gym, you know. So meaning, people are consistently inconsistent. So planning not an issue, focus and executing is the issue. You being a leader, if you have issue, then your people also have issues lah. Okay, Iqbal, thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, over to you. I'll be talking. I can talk the whole day. Yeah. So I'm passing the class back to Khairul, ataupun Iza. And we
Sorry,
can have.
Mr. Satyan, can I have just one more question before?
Can. I have time. I'm concerned about your time. Okay.
All right. I just want to ask one thing, right? Because what you are talking about is being an effective leader. Like overall, this training is about being an effective leader. So what is the most significant difference or the main attribute between managing a team in the office and managing a team virtually? What is the main criteria? What is the difference and the main attribute between me being a boss in the office and me being a boss at home, working virtually with my team? So what is the main difference? Yeah, I just want to know.
My personal experience, my personal experience initially was, my mindset told me, my people got more time working from home. Therefore, they can do more. And today, let me tell you, I was wrong. People don't have enough time while working from home.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, try to connect to the emotional part of your people. Practice that empathy.
All right.
Remember, my dear ladies, you are making breakfast every day now. You are probably cooking every day now, you know. You manage to find your kitchen lah. While working in office, you used to GPS, right, to find your kitchen. Tapi sekarang you know where your kitchen is located, correct? Like my colleague Nadia, she managed to find a kitchen, you know. So you don't have time actually. If you don't have time, your people also got no time. That's why I'm saying, build the clarity. While working virtually, your people and you must know what are you executing. So when you have your one-on-ones, it's not a simple or rather a normal mere one-on-ones. One-on-ones on the top 3 goals like a Copa Airlines. So when you have that, you have a different engagement. People are not just performing KPI, people are contributing. You see the difference? But my dear friends, it's nice to hear, but go and make it happen. Knowing and doing 2 different things. Puan Syafina, mak saya dulu kan, arwah mak saya, masa zaman Kuali, masa zaman RTM, TV3. Hari-hari dia tulis, you know, apa tu, the program Kuali. Tapi tak pernah masak, you know. So don't be that. Don't be that. Don't just take the tips. Apply the tips.
Alright. So macam-macam ilmu dapat apa ni. Saya minta maaf Cik Setian sebab kita dah terlanjur lebih 15 minit pada jadual yang sepatutnya. Minta maaf juga pada partisipan lah yang terpaksa meninggalkan majlis jugalah Cik Setian on behalf of them sebab dia ada another meeting to attend ni. So I guess I hope semua tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang attend this session today dapat mengambil lah sedikit sebanyak perkongsian yang telah dikongsikan oleh Encik Satyan sebentar tadi. Saya as a support staff lah, really looking forward lah to all of you lah here. Okay, our future leaders dekat TH ni. So hope whatever yang kita tengah yang kita belajar dekat sini, insyaAllah boleh di-absorb, boleh dipraktikkan. Macam Cik Satyan kata tadi lah, leadership is a journey lah. It's not an event. So we are really looking forward lah for all of you here lah, insyaAllah. So I guess sebelum kita nak end the session, Izzah, kita ada nak sesi tangkap gambar ke Izzah?
Boleh je. Boleh.
Itu syarat wajib Cik Satyan. Lepas habis dia mesti tangkap gambar. Lepas tu nanti post kali in tu biasalah tu. So saya ingin menjemputlah semua tuan-tuan dan puan-puan para peserta untuk onkan kamera. Untuk kita buat sesi bergambar. So Izzah, nanti boleh Izzah?
Boleh.
Okay. Right, on kamera semua Izzah. On your count lah Izzah.
Yap, tengah tunggu few more.
Azim dah mulai adjust rambut dah ni.
Yes. Handsome. Ustaz Syarul tak payah cakap lah, memang handsome dah daripada dulu lagi dah.
Dia paling handsome kat tamu haji Ustaz Syarul.
So Izzah, on your count Izzah. Kalau semua ready.
1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. Freestyle boleh?
Okay, freestyle apa? Freestyle, okay.
Tak apa, Desmond. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright, thank you guys.
Okay. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. I wish we can meet in another session. Okay.
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye Lana. Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Terima kasih semua.
Okay, thank you Azwan.
Terima kasih Ustaz.
Terima kasih Haji jadi host.
Sama-sama. Alhamdulillah. Lari sikit masa, sorry lah.
Tak apa. Ada Kak Safia ada informan tadi.
Sebab banyak sangat ilmu yang dia nak share, tak boleh ni lah. Cik Satyan dah leave
Dah.
Dah leave Okay. Baguslah, bagus.